like he's enjoying his brush out at the moment. We had to put a towel under him because he flipped out once his feet slipped just a little. Now he's good. We still got about a half mile to go. Almost there. Late for the change. Alright, right here. Okay. You can go try out your new skin. Come on. Come on. Come on! Good boy! Feels like a new puppy. You ready? I guess so. Good boy. Come on. Up. Good boy. Huh? You happy? Yeah? Okay, here we go again. This is February 17th. Back at the Casper College greenhouse here. And we're going to give a little update. And we're going to continue with showing different types of changes that John is going to be doing to this aquaponics layout. Now, as you can tell, the morning glories are still growing, and last time I was here we didn't have too much going on with the cilantro. Well, it turns out that they are now starting to grow. Apparently, just from observation, they need a little bit more germination time than morning glories to begin their growth. And everything else is going pretty darn good. And as John also pointed out to me today, and I'm going to point it out as well, right here along the concrete slab, the water is starting to pour over to the sides, as you can tell. We decided to put our experiments up here to help get them going, and in a way they are, you know, changing up the flow of how this is properly supposed to go. So these are only here temporary, folks. We're not going to continue leaving the morning glories and the cilantro all up in here, because believe it or not, this papyrus plant has to be cut back as well due to it cutting back on the flow and allowing it to go down and go through its whole system properly. So these things are going to be changes probably next time when we come up here. A couple of the changes that I'm going to continue videoing while I'm here today is the filter change, and we're going to see where else we go from there. But before we got started, I at least wanted to just point out what's going on over here, and let's get over to the other side. Once again, if you notice, concrete slab, you got wetness coming on the exterior, which is honestly not a good thing with this system, especially when you watch it on a daily basis. You know how it changes. Sweet Williams are definitely growing as well. And we do have the tomatoes rolling. They have began to sprout as we're talking too. And here's the tomatoes. I didn't show them last time because, yeah, they were not with everything else, and I did forget. And they are the ones with the blue tape on them. And yeah, they're sprouting up and doing pretty good too. This is February 17th now, and we're going to continue doing updates. As you can tell, there is a lot of experiments or sprouting going on over here in this corner, and they continue to follow along. Some of this stuff is done by John and some other of the people that run the greenhouse, and some of this stuff is actually students that come in here and start a project and wish to follow it. All right, I'm back here in the back room, and this is where I've got actually a little corner set up that John was kind enough to give, and boy has he given, believe it or not. He happened to bring in these trays right here. They're just a plastic basic style tray, but they're clear, and believe it or not, I'm sure there are some great ideas that if I don't come up or he don't come up with, hopefully one of y'all could definitely comment down below and give us some ideas of what to do with these. We're thinking terrariums for sure, of some sort. Yeah, they're pretty interesting. They're a decent size. I mean, I'm sure we could even put them up this way if we have to put some sort of a small miniature wall, you know, maybe some sort of a shadow box. You know, John and I were kind of thinking outside the, you know, our brains on that knowledge and thought, so maybe that route. This actually came from me at the house. This is part of the Groot Chia Pet. I just cut it off and brought it in here, and we're going to be using this on top of some sort of other potted flower in the future. Here's that potato I brought in, and as you can see, still that ain't changed much. She gotten a little more wrinkled, but no eyes growing yet, so we're holding off on that idea. And he ended up bringing these two things too. Just a glass tube, it's hollow, okay? Check that out. And I have an idea of maybe doing some sort of a different layer substrate pattern, and maybe putting this in plate of water and putting a seed in, and hopefully we might be able to see the difference with the roots growing down into it, and possibly also how the water soaks up in, like those pots in the aquaponic room with the morning glory, so you could actually see how it's working. That's an idea. If there's any other ideas, hey, let me know. Just brought in a simple pickle jar. Plan to hopefully do some sort of a miniature terrarium in this. And here is another one from John. I thought it was actually a flower vase of some sort, you know, Valentine's Day and whatnot, but it has a hole on the bottom. So hopefully maybe we could do some sort of a deal on top of some sort of a pot with the flowers. Who knows? If you got an idea, once again, let us know. But yeah, those are just a few things, and we plan to keep going. I wish I could show it all today, but you know, like growing things, everything takes time. We might be putting this on. We spoke quickly about it, probably, hopefully this week, but today is more of a filter change and some water tests and whatnot we're going to do. And we'll get back to you. Back in the aquaponics room, and we're going to be watching John as he does a pump change. And this is a, if you're interested, that's the name brand right there, Pond Mag. Magnetic drive water pump. He's going to be changing that out because I already told you guys on how the flow has slowed down, and that's one of the things right there that they are going to be taking care of, as well as changing or cleaning out the filter, the UV filter here. And he's got all the tools here that he needs practically, and he's about to get started. Because I don't care on how this starts up, we're just going to start it the way I do.
There we go.
And John's here.
Hello, I'm John again, back from the Casper College greenhouse. And today I'm going to give you all a quick what we got going on with our filter system. Right now we've got our emergency pump running the system, and we're going to change to a bigger, a little bit better pump, get a little better flow. We're going to clean the filters out. If we get a chance, we might rearrange some of this because we're having a little seepage over the sides. At some point we'll get to trimming the edges so that we no longer have that seepage. The papyrus tends to get out of hand, and as it grows it pushes the water out the sides. So let's get started. We've got some basic tools. We're going to need a 5-gallon bucket. We're going to need a really big pair of channel locks. Those aren't channel lock brand. They're Snap-on, if I'm not mistaken. A big wrench. This one should do it. I hesitated bringing one this small, but this one should do it. And then we're going to start with unplugging it.
I will take care of this part.
Thank you. So unplugging that kills the power for both our
UV filter and pump, right?
Yes, absolutely. UV filter.
Yeah. That's just extra drainage as it pumps, you know.
That's what's left in the top. It's finding its own level, and it will eventually work its way down.
Correct. Gotcha.
I hit my sleeves up here. These are Charlie's abuse boats. Charlie donated those to the turtles so the turtles can abuse them. So, excuse me for reaching.
Oh, go for it.
We're going to get down in here.
Remember, I'm always in your way.
Not in mine. This is a community college. We're here for you. We're here for the community and this for the students and the community. So there's a hose clamp down here on the pump. It's just typical.
Now, is it hooked up with PVC or garden hose or?
Actually, it's that black kind of.
Black, like the clear rubber tubing people use?
No, it's more like the stuff used in sprinkler systems.
Ah, okay.
Here, as a matter of fact. It's
because I know some people like to use some sort of a flexible tube.
It is flexible. It's semi-flexible. You can see it here, and then you can see our aerator here. There we go.
Good points that I would like to point out when using any type of a hose. If you could avoid using clear, it will help, especially for algae to grow inside of it.
That's just what I was going to say. We avoid everything we can that's clear.
He finished unhooking and running the wires and got the new one ready to go back in right there. And before we go on to that, as he brought it to my attention, as you notice on the end of this, it's got these the slotted screen. There's supposed to be a screen on top of it as well. If you look in there, you can see there's threads to twist on, some sort of an outer circular flat screen. And without it, this is what has happened to this one. Deep inside there are leaves and all sorts of other gunk that has already gotten enveloped into the rotors. And the best way of explaining this for some of y'all that don't understand is like hair and yarn and string being wrapped up on the rollers of a vacuum cleaner, if that helps give you an idea. Except to get inside this pump and get all that clean is not as easy as just plucking it off the bottom of your vacuum. So that's where we're at on this one. So this one's done, and he's ready to go ahead and install this one.
We had to kind of size up, so to speak, from the nipple on the pump to our hose. And you can see where I had to take my pocket knife and kind of cut that hose back. It's been on there for quite a while. So I think one thing we're going to do is, first off, we'll thread this on here real quick. And I've never really worried about it being anything more than hand tight. Every now and then you gotta make some adjustments to your pump. Shave away some of this plastic right here.
All right.
So we're finishing this fitting on and getting it turned the right way. There's 4 screw holes here at the bottom for the mount. We don't ever use the mount.
Trust me, I don't either.
But we do like it to sit this way, and we set it on a brick. We found that if we get it 3-4 inches off the bottom of the pond, that when it draws in a lot less garbage, and our filters clog.
That so makes sense.
So
too.
just a couple inches off the bottom has made a big difference.
Exactly. All right, we got the new one in. I decided to chat instead of videotape, so that's my fault. But he's getting ready to plug it up and test it right now. So here we go. Still got to get used to getting my finger out of the way, y'all. I'm getting a tripod, I promise.
We've got flow up here, so the pump's working.
There, I got my little ring out so I can walk around. Yeah.
You can see here the pump's working. Not a lot of flow. It's more about the volume than the pressure. As long as you can keep the volume circulating good. So we'll go ahead and shut that off. And we'll get after these 2 filters.
There we go. Pump done.
So, in case you guys missed the other video, water comes from the pump up through this tube here. First stop is the UV light filter. We're not going to mess with that today. That gets changed every 6 months and it's not due for another 2. Then it goes into this first filter chamber, which I think is the bio balls. And from the bio balls, it goes into the second filter chamber, which has a bio mesh.
Goes through the bio mesh. Boom.
So this isn't a particularly hard job. It's just that it's a little messy.
All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this this video with a little extra content from the house, just because I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all the rundown of the upgrade I plan on doing. And first, we're just gonna show off the fish, let y'all see the inverted aquarium on top, still doing fine. Haven't touched it. All the air actually from the top has disappeared. That actually happened within the first week. The snails were coming up to the top and they were siphoning all the fresh air from the top, and, and the water just, you know, took over the space that was there. It was pretty interesting. That's all that's left as far as, you know, the air pockets up there. I got all the fry in here now. I moved them over. I already got rid of the breeder tank on that side there. No need for it anymore. I moved Goldie over here to this tank so I could give him more of the hands-on training that I'm going to show you all how sociable these animals are. Plus, my pond snails are still, you know, thriving a little bit over here, and Goldie's great for taking care of these pond snails. They are a pest, but they also are a benefit at the same time. This is why I have my mystery snails, and I'm going to continue with breeding them once we get the upgrade set up. Okay. I won't be needing my pond snails. What I do with the pond snails when I do find them is I'll pluck them off the top with either my fingers or tweezers. There's a couple in here doing their thing, but 2 versus 200 is definitely a plus. What I do is I pop them, crush them, and they become fish food. That's just it, you know. That's free protein for your fish. It's healthy and it helps them grow. So that's where we're at on them. And we'll go ahead and show you over here what I've got going on. This is part of my upgrade. This is not buttoned up yet. This is just put together because I did my measurements. I will be gluing and setting it up soon enough. All connected with this down here. I started with a 100-gallon with my bow front on top of it. It is going to be inverted on top of this in my living room. But when I could not find the size planter box that I wanted, I decided to go with a gutter, and I upgraded everything. If you wish to know more about this, stay tuned. Thanks for watching Why Not Wyoming. Y'all take care. Bless y'all.
Ha ha ha!